Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shuhaida Arifin and you're watching News at 10. Our headlines for tonight. Government writes off Felka Berhad participant debts. New features of JPN documents to boost identity security. The government has agreed to write off the debt of Felka Berhad participants amounting to 233.8 million ringgit for less viable projects. Prime Minister Dato' Sri Semasa said he was informed that the Felka Board of Directors had approved a proposal to request the government to write off the outstanding debts of the Felka participants.
Walaupun saya dah bersetuju, tetapi dari segi peraturan, prosedur dia kena bawa ke dalam mesyuarat kabinet untuk kelulusan. Saya dah bincang dengan Menteri KPLB bawa dalam mesyuarat kabinet. Tetapi mesyuarat kabinet tak boleh diadakan sekarang ni kerana kerajaan telah membubarkan parlimen. Bila bubar parlimen, saya menjadi Menteri caretaker, Menteri sementara. Datuk Mahathir Khalid pun, Datuk Seri Mahathir Khalid juga Menteri caretaker, Menteri sementara, dan kita tak ada kabinet semasa Menteri caretaker. Tapi tak apa, bergantung pada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan lah. Yang saya lulus pada dasar tersebut akan menjadi kenyataan kalau saya bersama rakan-rakan saya boleh bermesyuarat semula kabinet selepas pilihan raya nanti.
The Premier informed that as of December 2021, a total of 323 projects involving 22,173 hectares have been identified as less viable projects. He noted that if the yields are low, the Felka participants would not be able to pay off the debts. Dato' Sri Semasa expressed hope that the proposal could be submitted to the Cabinet after the 15th General Election GE15. The Prime Minister also announced that a total of 74,949 Felka participants nationwide will receive the 2022 interim distributable profits amounting to 181.5 million ringgit. He said payments will be disbursed in stages from today, adding that he was happy that Felka Berhad managed to maintain a good performance when it recorded an increase of almost 51 million ringgit or 38.1% in profit compared to last year's performance. On another note, the Prime Minister revealed a one-off payment of 1,000 ringgit to each Tok Batin or Penghulu of orang asli communities nationwide. Dato' Sri Semasa said it involves an allocation of 624,000 ringgit as a sign of the Keluarga Malaysia government's appreciation for the contribution of Tok Batin and Penghulu in the development and preservation of heritage of the orang asli community.
Membuktikan kerajaan tidak pernah melupakan atau meminggirkan masyarakat orang asli daripada pembangunan negara.
The Premier said that the government has allocated an allowance amounting to 6.739 billion ringgit annually for a total of 624 Tok Batin and Penghulu. According to him, the government has allocated 2.7 billion ringgit in the budget 2023 to develop the economy of the youth in the orang asli community. He added that his government will always look after the welfare of the orang asli if it continues to be given a mandate in the 15th general election and continue to fight to solve some of the community's problems, including land issues. For the Risda smallholders, Dato' Ismail Sabri said assistance in the form of a one-off grant amounting to 15,000 ringgit with 10,000 ringgit for the purchase of equipment and 5,000 ringgit for training purposes had been provided for the youths.
Kerajaan telah meluluskan sejumlah 191 juta bagi bantuan musim tengkujuh melibatkan seramai 232,300 319 pekebun kecil Risda dengan kadar RM600 sebulan yang akan diagihkan pada bulan November dan Disember ini. Untuk tahun 2023 kita tambahkan allowance musim tengkujuh 200 sebulan selama 4 bulan daripada 600 menjadi 800.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, who used to be the Rural and Regional Development Minister, said Risda was allocated RM3.019 billion under the 12 Malaysia Plan 12 MP. He said Risda was allocated RM269 million under the 12 MP for entrepreneurship programs, expected to benefit 77,183 smallholders, and expressed confidence of Risda achieving its aim to increase the income of smallholders to RM4,500 per month per family in 2025. The budget 2023 will be presented again before the end of this year. According to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, the budget must be debated and approved in the Dewan Rakyat so that the essence of the federal can be implemented.
Kita dah umumkan bajet. Macam-macam yang kita nak bagi kepada rakyat ni. Semua kita nak bagi ni. Orang kampung yang paling banyak dapat ni. Tapi kita belum lulus lagi bajet tu. Kita kena bentang dulu. Kita akan bentang sekali lagi. Sebelum akhir tahun kita akan bentang sekali. Jadi kalau orang lain merintah, saya tak jamin lah dapat apa yang dijanjikan. Kalau kita merintah, saya lagi jadi Perdana Menteri, insya-Allah semua bajet yang dibentangkan akan kita luluskan demi kepentingan rakyat.
On 7 October, Finance Minister Tunku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tunku Abdul Aziz presented the budget 2023, which was involved an allocation of RM372.3 billion. However, it has not been approved in the Dewan Rakyat following the dissolution of the Parliament on 10 October after Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri received the consent of Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. Documents issued by the National Registration Department JPN will now come with new enhanced security features to ensure the identities of Malaysians are protected and managed with integrity. According to Home Minister Datuk Seri Hamzah Zainuddin, the new JPN documents will be issued from next January onwards. A total of 38 documents comprising birth certificate, death certificate, marriage registration, Malaysian citizenship certificate and the temporary identification documents issued by the department will have state-of-the-art security enhanced features.
Dalam kita nak memastikan bahawa sijil itu tidak boleh dikeluarkan dengan sewenang-wenangnya. Kalau ada pun orang keluarkan sijil, bawa kepada kita, kita tahu sama ada sijil itu sah ataupun tidak, sijil itu sahih ataupun tidak, adalah dengan menggunakan kaedah-kaedah yang tertentu dalamnya. Watermark yang digunakan, semua orang boleh buat watermark, tetapi watermark yang ada untuk JPN berbeza dengan watermark yang diperolehi oleh mana-mana agensi yang lain.
Datuk Seri Hamzah further noted that the new security features will also deter the fraudulent use and misuse of such identification documents. To further safeguard documents issued by the department, he said the JPN had also enhanced its investigation and enforcement unit with the implementation of No Day Without operation. Coming up next, MOSTI identifies 3 interventions to support Malaysian startups. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, MOSTI, has identified 3 interventions to create a conducive ecosystem to support the development of innovation and technology startups in the country.
3 intervensi yang telah dikenalpasti bagi kategori inovasi adalah mempertingkatkan program inkubasi syarikat pemula yang diterajui sektor korporat, dan kita mendorong pengomersialan intellectual property ataupun IP, penyelidikan menerusi kaedah reverse pitch, dan kita menggalakkan percambahan spin-off daripada pusat pendidikan tinggi negara kita.
Menghasilkan inopreneur di
Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Adam Baber said most views the empowerment of innovation seriously, especially in the entrepreneurial field that can create many jobs. He added that the conducive innovation and startup ecosystem is very important to encourage more investment in product and service innovation. Drugs worth RM2.5 million were seized after the police raided a home that had been used as a homestay. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Dato' Azmi Abu Kasim said that 2 suspected drugs dealers were arrested following raids conducted on 13th October. The suspects aged 37 and 38 were caught in Desa Sri Hartamas and Bandar Damai Perdana respectively.
Dan daripada kedua-dua tangkapan ini, kita telah menyerbu sebuah rumah di Kajang yang merupakan sebuah premis yang disewa oleh lelaki ini. Sebuah premis homestay ni. Airbnb ni, homestay. Dan di rumah itu kita telah merampas sejumlah 213 kilo syabu dan 33 kilo pil Arimin 5 dan tunai sebanyak RM70,000 Malaysia. So nilaian rampasan ini mengikut harga pasaran adalah sebanyak 10.1 juta.
The homestay was believed to be used as a store and the group would move every 1 or 2 weeks to throw off the police. It is also believed that the syndicate has been active for around 2 months and the market was intended to be within the Klang Valley. The National Recovery Council (NPN) has proposed the setting up of a special green lane to reduce bureaucracy and accelerate the necessary initial approvals for small and medium enterprises (SMEs) to enable them to fully recover from the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic. NPN member Datuk Kang Hua Kiong said most SMEs were facing difficulties in demand, liquidity issues and revenues, and all these have severely affected their ability to function. Datuk Kang said he had highlighted 2 main topics during the council meeting, namely labour shortage and financial issues facing the SMEs. He expressed hope that the government could come out with a policy to assist the SMEs to survive from bankruptcy and disruption in operations. On the supply side, he said SMEs experienced significant reduction in foreign workforce as most of them had gone back to their countries following the lockdowns due to the pandemic. Datuk Kang said the government should provide a blanket approval for the labour force. For instance, applications for foreign workers should get at least 50% approved by the relevant authorities without delay. In this respect, he said, a one-stop centre to reduce bureaucracy and expedite approvals should be established so that SMEs could operate and slowly recover from the aftermath of the pandemic. The Small and Medium Enterprise SME Recapitalisation Fund worth R600 million in the form of Ikuti was officially launched today for entrepreneurs who have been severely affected by the COVID-19. SME Bank Group President and Chief Executive Officer Dr. Arya Putra Ismail said through the Recapitalisation Fund investment, which is expected to benefit nearly 600 SMEs, entrepreneurs would be able to restructure their financial needs. According to Datuk Dr. Arya Putra, the fund offers equity investment of up to RM5 million for those eligible and it can be used as working capital with a repayment period of up to 5 years with an estimated dividend rate of 6% per annum. As an added value, he said, entrepreneurs who are eligible who get to attend the Malaysian Equity Program to be conducted by the Centre of Entrepreneur Development and Research (CEDA) and subsidiary of SME Bank and implementing partner of the program. He said CEDA will be using the Enterprise Life Cycle Scoring Assessment or ELSA tool to obtain a report on the life cycle of the entrepreneur's business to help them draw up the latest business plan and set development targets.
ELSA ni akan melihat dari segi apakah gap yang SME itu ada dan bagaimanakah SME ini dapat dibantu dari segi bukan saja dari segi pendanaan equity tadi tetapi juga capacity building. Kalau pembiayaan biasa adalah seperti capacity building itu adalah tidak tidak wajib lah kan. Tapi kalau program ini kami mengharuskan mereka mengikuti program ELSA tadi agar kita dapat menilai dan observe atau monitor progress PKS berkenaan.
In a foreign front, Russia attacks Ukraine with kamikaze drones. Russia attacked the center of Kiev with drones during morning rush hour today. Terrified residents emerged from underground shelters as firemen hosed smoking ruins with water and emergency workers rescued people trapped under the rubble. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko has confirmed the report on Telegram. The attacks came exactly 1 week after Russia unleashed its heaviest aerial bombardment of Kiev and other Ukrainian cities since the start of the war, also during morning rush hour. The strikes hit critical infrastructure in 3 regions, cutting off electricity in hundreds of villages across the country. There was no immediate word on casualties from the blasts. Ukraine said the Kiev attacks used Iran-made kamikaze drones, which fly to their target and detonate, which Russia has increasingly deployed in recent weeks. A drone also hit the Yevry marine terminal in the southern Ukrainian city of Mykolaiv, causing storage tanks of sunflower oil to go up in flames. The Kremlin has not commented. Austria's foreign minister said ahead of a meeting of counterparts in Luxembourg that any use of Iranian drones in Russia's war against Ukraine would mark an escalation of the conflict. His colleague from Luxembourg, Jean Azemborn, said additionally, EU sanctions on Iran would not be limited to blacklisting some individuals should Tehran's involvement in Russia's war on Ukraine be proven. Ukraine has reported a spate of Russian attacks with Iranian-made SAHIH 136 drones in recent weeks. Iran denies supplying the drones to Russia. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nasser Kanani said Iran opposes war and based on its own capacity and the good relation it had with both sides of the conflict has made it attempts to end the military approach. Today, the European Union was already preparing to slap sanctions on Iran over a human rights crackdown. Ministers are set to impose travel bans and freeze the assets of some 15 Iranians involved in the government crackdown that began last month against demonstrators outraged by the death in police custody of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. Thousands of Australians today returned to homes and businesses to assess flood damage, even as evacuation warnings remain in inland regions of the southeast, with authorities warning of more rain ahead, which could trigger renewed flooding. In Melbourne's west, residents of the flooded suburb of Maribyrnong piled damaged furniture and soaked floor carpets outside homes. Meanwhile, in the regional centre of Shepparton, floodwater peaked lower than expected, sparing homes from inundation. Large parts of Victoria State, southern New South Wales and the northern regions of the island state of Tasmania were slammed by an intense weather system last week, with some taking more than a month's worth of rain. The Weather Bureau has forecast another wild weather system that could bring rains of up to 50 millimetres across some flood-hit regions. Paris Saint-Germain and Brazil football star Neymar Jr. and 8 others go on trial in Barcelona today, charged with fraud and corruption over the player's transfer to Barcelona from Santos in 2013. Neymar and his father landed in Spain early this morning and hopped in a van towards downtown Barcelona. Spanish prosecutors are seeking a 2-year prison term and a €10 million fine for Neymar. They are also seeking a 5-year jail term for former Barca president Sandro Rosell and an €8.4 million fine for the club. The case centers on the claim made by Brazilian investment firm DIS, which owned 40% of the rights to Neymar when he was at Santos, that it lost out on its rightful cut from the player's transfer because the value of the deal was understated. DIS has demanded a much heavier 5-year jail term for Neymar, fines worth 149 million euros in total, and for the player to be disqualified from playing for the length of any sentence handed down by the judge. Along with Neymar, the defendants include his parents, representatives of the two clubs, former Barca president Jose Maria Bartomeu and Rosell, and former Santos president Aurelio Rodriguez. Liverpool ends Man City's unbeaten Premier League run. That and more next in sports. Number 2, the Langkawi LTDL 2022 team Alpecin Danunik registered their third stage win when short bagged 107.1 kilometers stage 7 race around the Kuah town in Langkawi. The rider from the Netherlands was among 3 riders who staged a breakaway from the peloton and sprint their way to the finish line with a time of 2 hours and 20 minutes 52 seconds. The start of the race saw Lotto Soda rider Carlos Barbero making an early breakaway, forcing the peloton to give chase at an average speed of 60 km per hour. Backs got up to the breakaway group after the third sprint zone at kilometer 91 and held on to the lead until the finish line. Meanwhile, Movistar rider Ivan Ramiro Sosa remained the holder of the yellow jersey as overall leader. The white jersey for Best Asian rider was retained by Terengganu Polygon Cycling Team rider Jambajam Sesembaya, while Erlen Blikra from Uno X Pro Cycling Team kept the green jersey as Sprint King. LTDL 2022 will officially come to an end tomorrow after stage 8 involving the same route. Liverpool's Mo Salah won the battle of the forwards against Manchester City's Erling Haaland in a clash, which saw the rampant Norwegians' goal-scoring streak come to an end. The citizens had celebrated vigorously as after a poor first half, Phil Foden thought he had fired the championship into the lead in the 53rd minute, only for his strike to be ruled out after a VAR review. Guardiola was furious with the decision, turning around to remonstrate with Liverpool fans in the stands. Haaland was penalised for a foul on Fabinho in the build-up to Foden's finish, a decision Guardiola was still not happy with after the match. In the 76th, Salah, who scored the fastest ever Champions League hat-trick during a 6-minute goal spree against Rangers on Wednesday, pounced on a mistake by João Cancelo before racing clear and beating goalkeeper Ederson. The goal ensured a crucial win for the Reds, who remain 10 points behind City and 14 adrift of league leaders Arsenal. The result also ended City's unbeaten run in the season, denying Pep Guardiola's team the chance of emulating Arsenal's 2004 Invincibles by going through a season without defeat. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich blasted 5 goals past hapless Freiburg in a 5-0 demolition job on yesterday to leapfrog them into second place. The champions are now 19 points, 1 ahead of third place Freiburg, who suffered their second league loss, and 4 behind leaders Union Berlin. Meanwhile, Union Berlin's Yannick Haberer scored twice in 13 minutes as the Bundesliga leader cruised past. Andrei Rublev defeated Sebastian Korda in straight sets in Sunday's Gijon Open final to land his 12th ATP Tour title. The Russian had already prevailed in Belgrade, Dubai and Marseille this year and added another crown to his collection with a 6-2, 6-3 victory against Korda in 75 minutes. Top seed Rublev had dropped only 1 set in his 3 matches en route to the final and impressed against Korda with 29 winners, 3 breaks and just 4 unforced errors. Rublev also defeated Ilya Ivashka, Tommy Paul and Dominic Thiem as he marched to the title in northern Spain. Korda, seeking a second tour-level trophy following success in Parma last year, had his serve broken in the 4th and 8th games of the opening set. Some heavy-hitting exchanges kept spectators gripped, though Rublev proved too strong for Korda in the second set and earned the only break in the 6th game. World number 9 Rublev was in good form and made light work of his 22-year-old American opponent as he got over the line with his fourth match point and remains sixth in the chase for an ATP final spot, with 4 of those ahead of him already qualified along with Novak Djokovic. In Italy, Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime beat JJ Wolf of the United States 6-4, 6-4 in the final of the France Open to win his second career ATP title. Auger-Aliassime fired 11 aces, the last of which he won the 1 hour and 41-minute match with. Auger-Aliassime, the top seed in the tournament, also won 85% of his first serve points. The victory was an important one for the Montreal native as he looked to qualify for the Nitto ATP Finals, which will be held in Torino, Italy. The year-end event, which features the world's best 8 qualified singles players and doubles teams, is played in a round-robin format, with the best 4 players and doubles teams reaching the knockout semi-final stage. With the victory, Auger-Aliassime moved 180 points past American Taylor Fritz for 7th in the Pepperstone ATP live race to Turin. After receiving a bye into a second round, Auger-Aliassime defeated Oscar Otte, Brendan Nakashima and Lorenzo Musetti en route to the title match. His win over Otte was his lone victory that went further than 2 sets. The 22-year-old, currently ranked 13th in the world, is set to move to number 10 today following his title win. Auger-Aliassime had also won the Rotterdam Open in February. All right, with that, we conclude news at 10. In our top story, government writes off Velcro Berhad participants. Don't forget to tune in to updates at noon tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Till then, I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Thank you for watching.